was one advocating for change.
Yeah, so I contacted the program manager to ask her about that.
It's like green, yellow, red.
We are live? Okay.
We're live?
Should I say something?
You have to do a little countdown.
Just let them know that we're going to get started in a minute. Hi, thank you for joining us. We're going to get started here in just a moment. We're at the Willow Elementary School. This is the McKinley Fire Transition Meeting where we will meet the new incoming incident management team and be able to say goodbye and hear final closeouts from the Alaska incident management team. So stand by, we'll be right back.
It's like red, yellow, green.
Yeah, it's like a stoplight. Because green means go, like get out of it. Shoot.
On 550 total and 14 crews last I looked, but there's probably one on our.
So still pretty active.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're still at the peak, and then towards the middle of the week, it'll start to go down. Crews go back to the lower week or something like that. Yeah, there is a glide path that we try to stay ahead of. So you gotta bring a jet up and get guys from up here to the back to the road. There's a coordination center.
Testing. Hey everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Sunday. My name is Cale Casey with the Alaska Interagency Incident Management Team. Many of your faces are familiar. I know it's a busy weekend. We do have an online audience, and we do ask the online audience at all times, whether you're watching now or on the rebroadcast, to go ahead and ask your questions. We have Byron and Colleen signing for the deaf community, and we're grateful for that. Thank you. And this is an informal, we've done 2 recovery meetings with our full agenda. Now we're deeper in the week. We have 91% containment on the fire. We have the Northern Rockies incident management team is fully in place shadowing us today. So the purpose of this meeting is to give a brief fire update. I do know we have one couple here that's interested in the Deshka fire update, so we'll give you that information as well. And we'll get a couple key speakers up here. I'll have eventually Carrie from the Red Cross kind of clarify where they are, John from Team Rubicon clarify where they are, and then we'll open it up to broader questions. And a lot of this is for folks who will watch on the either live broadcast or rebroadcast. Since it is a holiday weekend, we are down here in Willow. We know that folks are up in Hidden Hills and up in Talkeetna, down in Wasilla, and some folks are watching from around the world because they have either property or family here. And so, again, I'm going to bring up Norm McDonald. Karen, our ops chief, has been losing her voice. She's been doing so much work. So we'll have Norm give the incident commander intent, and then we do have Karen here to give it ops questions and answers if needed. But Norm, how about you lead it off?
All right, welcome. So yeah, we just did want to do just a brief update where we're at. I think the last time we were here, we were still climbing the hill. I think right now it's safe to say we've peaked it, we're crested, and we're looking at kind of downhill side. So, some of the challenges we had when we first came in, immediately were the railroad, and just getting people out of neighborhoods still. The schools were shut down, the bus routes were shut down, so those were the challenges we had. We said our priorities were trying to reestablish that normalcy back to the community. So we are there. I looked through our checklist. We've got folks back into their neighborhoods. Roads 2-way, we still have reduced speeds that'll remain in effect as long as we're working on that right away just for firefighter safety. Today a big landmark, or tomorrow I guess a big landmark, is the school bus routes will be back to normal, actually picking kids back up at their regular bus stops. So that was really the last of the check marks for us as far as the community functions. Still a lot of personal recovery going on around the homes. We do have people back in there. We've introduced the Team Rubicon and some of the other recovery agencies over the last week. They're in there helping out where they can. So the fire side of it, there's still work, or there's still heat that we're going to be working on. We're working with the Northern Rockies team today to get a transition for tomorrow. So they'll take operational control of this incident tomorrow at 0700. And the intent of the last couple of days is to make sure the direction we're going, the work we're doing is clear to them, the safety is in there, they realize they're working in the community and what that's all about, and continue that mission and see that through to the end. So they're right on board with what we've got going on. We'll carry that on and just help, again, get this as back to normal as we can. A couple things I do want to make sure when we talk about these, there are still hazards out there, and there will be long after the fire is contained and the structures are safe. And those are going to include the snags. Those will be coming down all winter long. That's not going to go away in the short term. There's going to be ash pits out there. We've had firefighters with a lot of experience that are getting burns daily on those ash pits and stepping into hot ash. So those are out there. So if your normal hiking trails, hunting trails, berry picking spots are in there, be aware there's still a lot of hazards out there. So we're asking people to stay off unless it's around the structure that's been secured, stay out of those backwoods, those trails. A lot of areas that look safe and like it's just a dirt path that's been burned underneath, and it's hot ash up to 2 feet deep. So we've been telling our firefighters that, we're telling the public that, the homeowners are aware of it, but that's the message we're getting out there. I think that's really what I wanted to share. I've mentioned this before, I work and live right in Palmer. The Mat-Su Borough is my community. And again, we had our cooperators meeting today, which is a lot of the local government, Mat-Su Borough, and then the folks here. And it's always just amazing to me to come into a place like this and how we come here to help out, but really the public, the people are helping each other. There's a lot of just good folks here that help each other up. We saw it at Sockeye, we saw it at Miller's Reach, and we see it again now. So that's why I live in Alaska. That's why I live here in the Mat-Su Borough, and anything we can do to help this fire or the next one, that's what we're here for. So, glad to pass this off to the next team coming in. Our folks can definitely use some rest, and they are fresh and ready to go, and excited to come here and help and carry that on. So thanks.
Great, thanks Norm. And Mark Leffelbein will give us a weather update since we're still in the 0.03 a couple days ago and 0.04 today range, which is not much rain, but we'll hear more.
Yeah, we did get a little bit of rain. Everybody's seen that, but it just hasn't been as much as what we'd expect for this time of year. 4 to 5 inches would be normal for a normal August, and same for about September, maybe a little less. But we do have some more rain on the way. Friday night we picked up about 3 to 5/100 of an inch of rain over the area, and again last night the same thing. The showers that keep going through do keep our relative humidities up, so that does help with fire behavior. Also, that higher relative humidity means when the next wave of rain comes through, it's less likely to evaporate before it hits the ground. And I do think tomorrow and tomorrow night do have better potential as in rainfall there. I'm thinking over 1/4 inch of rain will fall over the fire for tomorrow night. So that is some good news there. It still leaves us a bit short of average, but if we can keep this progression up, that's certainly going to be good news for us. I was looking at the longer range outlooks, and they're still out there a bit, but what I'm seeing is kind of a persistent pattern of a big trough coming through every few days. And if we can keep that activity up, that's going to lead us to more of a normalcy, you might say, more of what you'd expect for a September, rather than that ridge building back in like we had last month. So I think we're going to see a little more cloud cover, temperatures a little more average-like, and we'll keep some precipitation in the forecast. If you do have any questions for me, go ahead and grab me. I'll be walking around afterwards.
Great, thanks Mark. Ed Soto, our agency administrator from the Department of Forestry, wanted us to remind everybody, especially online, even with a little bit of rain, that doesn't mean that the burn closure changes. There's a burn closure for a reason. The drought index hasn't dropped. This is such a small amount of rain that if you go under any of these trees or reach into the duff layer at all, it's bone dry still. So hunters, warming fires are illegal. We've had our FMO, Fire Management Officer from the area, has been called and has been having to deal with some of these fires that are out in the landscape that are started by hunters. And we want to make sure folks know that that is not only illegal, it could get us into trouble again with a start that could travel underneath the dry canopy. The one exception to that is firefighters who are out on the Deshka fire do have warming fires because they have not come back to the road system for the last 12 days. They've been out there the whole time. To give you a brief Deshka fire update, they are in a very similar situation that we are. They have very deep mop-up on basically all aspects of the fire. The map to your right, sir, was a couple days ago. All that red is gone. There's a tiny bit of red left. The containment's 95%. They don't expect the fire to move at all outside of its footprint, and they still have 200 firefighters assigned to the Deshka fire. The team that's been managing it is probably going to put themselves out of work here sometime before their end of assignment. That's how well that's going. So the moisture, of course, helps. We just ask folks to acknowledge that 13A, the unit that is over the Deshka area, is closed, and that warming fires are not allowed. Okay, John Newsom, how about we talk about Team Rubicon, what capabilities you have, how many people you've contacted, and what your plan is.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm John Newsom. I'm with Team Rubicon. I was here as the first part of Team Rubicon, come in and see what we could do for the community. Team Rubicon is an all-volunteer organization active in disaster recovery. We're not first responders, so we have to wait until there is some control of what's going on with the disaster before we come in to see how we can help citizens get back to a normal life. What we're doing here right now is helping to clear trees that are right against either standing homes that were not affected by the fire, but they're in the fire area, or the areas that are completely burned out that we're trying to make it so that they can get back in, start rebuilding, or bring in trailers or portables. I've heard some people talk about that before winter. We're out to help everybody, but people are trying to stay on their property that we can help get in before winter. That's kind of our priority right now. Since we've been here, we actually had our first work day yesterday. It was safe enough for us to get in. And we have 14 work orders. We have over 30 leads. That means people have contacted us and said that they know somebody that needs help or they need help getting back onto their property. So we've got 30 leads. We've worked up. We've got assessment folks out. We've got 14 work orders. So we've got 14 activities that we're ready to go work on. And we're physically today working on 4 sites to help people get back in. We're a little bit limited. Like I said, we are all volunteers, so we're a little bit limited, partly because of the holiday weekend. And then there's some stuff going down on the southeast side of the United States that's competition. We do have 105,000 volunteers in the United States, but as volunteers, there's only a very small number that might be available at any one time. And so of that 105,000, I'll put a little plug in for veterans. There's about 70% of us are veterans. A large number over that are first responders that have come into our organization, and then the rest of the people are people just like you that we've been out to help or have seen us in the communities and have signed up to help also. We're going to be here for a while. We may taper down a little bit as we have trouble getting some volunteers, but we might just take a tactical pause or keep going real light, and then as we can get volunteers come back. But if you see that we're leaving the area, it's not because we're leaving to get out of the area. We'd most likely be back, either another full-blown operation or just a tactical pause on this. And Mike, do you know what our number is for the forward-facing number? We've got a phone number to call. I don't have it written down on a piece of paper, but we can get that so that people can call us. They'll probably get a voicemail, but then we will get back with them whenever we have a chance to get back with them. They're looking for that number right now.
Is that the 360 number?
360-975-7944. So that's our contact number. We've got that posted with the Red Cross. We've got it posted at the Upper Sisseton Senior Center. Any place we could think, we've got that posted. If you know people that need help, that get a hold of us, just remember we're working inside the fire area. A lot of the people were evacuated, still want to get some mitigation done. We're not there right now. We're inside the fire area to help the people that were directly affected by the fire.
Great. Thanks, John. One of the best ways that this can spread is word of mouth. So they are located at Station 13-1 in Caswell. It's the incident command post for the Team Rubicon. So if neighbors are helping neighbors, you can point somebody in that direction. They can drive out there and have a face-to-face with John and his team. All right, Carrie Dighton with the Red Cross to give us an update on where they are in their process of supporting.
Thank you. Hey everybody, the Red Cross is still across the affected neighborhoods. We have a couple of services still available. We're distributing supplies through September 3rd at Sheep Creek Lodge from 12 to 6. So if you still need supplies, and that can be water, shovels, rakes, anything like personal hygiene kits, blankets, that sort of thing, just swing by and you can pick up whatever you need as you are back in your home, cleaning up, kind of seeing what's going on out there. We also have caseworkers that are available by appointment. So if you call 764-2407, you can reach them, make an appointment, and that can help you with any paperwork you've got, insurance claims, financial assistance, really kind of talking through and seeing what your needs are. We also have disaster health and mental health services available. So if you've got some first aid needs, or you just need somebody to talk to and kind of talk about where you're at and see where you can go from here, we're available for that too. So you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter to find these services and any updates we have available, and we'll make sure that information is shared with the fire service as well. Thanks.
Okay, great. We also have a couple representatives from local churches. The local Baptist church and church down in Wasilla. There's many organizations that are part of the community organizations active in disaster, the COAD, and so they're offering support as well. And how about we have Matt Subero, Mayor Vern Halter, give us some words, and then we'll go into a Q&A and see how we can serve everybody here.
Thank you very much. I came here today because I wanted to thank our incident crew for doing a great job right off the bat. We really appreciate it. Norm, Karen, you're sensational, so thank you. And Tom and everybody that was in that group that took over right away, management of this, obviously slowed this fire down, got it circled, and I think stopped a lot of further loss. We had a tremendous amount of loss initially, and it was 2 weeks ago today when things really ramped up and got hot and windy and just a really tough fire. Unfortunately, with Willow and Caswell area, this is our second time in 2015. Fires just take a lot out of us, and it takes a long time to recover. So I'm really appreciative of Team Rubicon and the Red Cross and everybody else, MEA, for getting everybody electricity back and going. The school kids are going back to school with the normal busing tomorrow. I think that's really important, and it's been a tough one. And I want to thank the MSB initial responders that were out there on the lines right off the bat. And what can you say about these firefighters? That they were just talking about Deshka. They've been out there, what, 2 weeks now, living out there. It's amazing just how tough these folks are. And we want to thank all our lower 48 firefighters for coming up here. And I hope you can do that, because we're forever grateful on the support we received. And so I really was worried about losing this command we have right now, but the transition, I think, is going to go smoothly, just because that's how they operate. And there's a lot of work left to be done, so thank you very much to all you folks did for the community of Caswell and Willow.
Thank you, Vern.
Thank you, Mayor Halter. And on that note, let's bring up some of the command staff for John Thompson's team. So John Thompson's incident commander, he was briefed yesterday with his crew. Scott McElroy will be doing the operations. Then Sarah Rouse and Roya Lucian will be doing the information. And I'll have John go ahead and just introduce his team real quick.
All right, good day, folks. I'm John Thompson, Incident Commander, Northern Rockies Team 7. The bulk of us are from the state of Montana, so I said this morning at the cooperators meeting. I think there's a lot of similarities between Montana and Alaska, so we're glad we could come up here and help you folks out. This is Scott McElroy, one of my operations section chiefs, Sarah Rouse, information officer, and Mariah Lucian, one of our information officers as well. So one thing I will say, since we've got you guys here, is one of the ways that we're most successful is by getting information out to you folks. It looks like you guys want information in many different ways, and if we're not getting you the information you need, please come to us and tell us that, and we'll get it to you however you want.
Okay. Great. Thank you all, and they'll be located in the same place. I know, it's great to have a good team, and a lot of us have worked together. It is one big firefighting family, truly. And I know from when John introduced his team last night, he said that they have 3 values that they work under, and of course they're here to work. They're here to accomplish all the missions that you have for them, that Ed has for them. No change in that plan, and they're here to work in an environment of mutual respect. And those are 3 great qualities that a team carries with them wherever they go, and we're glad to have you here. I'm looking forward to working with you. We have folks, again, from DESHCA, just so we can have it. The fire's 95% contained, and 200 plus firefighters still there. I know our friend's house is on the east side, and so there's been worries since day one. Okay, great. So DESHCA's in good place. That team will stay until it's out. And the firefighters are doing well out there in the line. Canada Chiefs crew is going to take 2 days off in Anchorage this weekend, and then come back out and camp out for 14 more days to help bring all the hose and pumps and everything back in once they have that part of the process underway. Okay? Good? Okay. Questions for the group? Concerns? Yes? Stephanie's got an online question, I believe.
We do. It's Stacy Johnson online would like to know, will the burnt area be a hazard when it snows, such as trees in the ground?
Okay, really good question. We've been always saying from day one that this is an unsafe area because of the drought, because of the fire-weakened trees, and that when the snow comes, there will be different storms that will do different gravity tricks on these trees, depending on where the snow comes in, how it blows, what knocks over. So the answer to that is yes. And until pretty much all the trees that are going to fall come down, whichever way they come down, there is that possibility of either a silent killer, what we call a fast-moving tree, or just slow trees that might change something like a trail from day to day. You might pass through one of our trail systems here, and then the next day later you might have a leaner a heavy snow tree that might come down and want to take you off your dog sled or snow machine or what have you. The ash pits, right now they're surviving underneath this very little rain with no problem at all. In fact, that's actually making it harder for our firefighters, and we do believe that at some point they'll get capped by some snow, and that next spring, just like with the sockeye fire, we'll have to keep an eye out for any what we call holdovers. And that's not uncommon here in Alaska, but especially when you have the record drought index and no moisture in the ground, and it can burn up to 2 or 3 or so feet down. So does that help answer that question, I hope? We're asking everybody to remain vigilant, be careful out there. The new normal is that we have to be cautious in that 7-mile stretch, 3,200 acres. Everybody has to be on alert in there. Okay, other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So will they continue to use the same communication methods that you all have started?
Really good question. That's one of those questions of continuity. Yes. So the question was, will the incoming team still use the daily updates with the emails, the Facebook posts, the AK Fire info, the live feeds, and the answers? Yes. Mariah and Sarah are totally savvy. This is going to be just smooth for them, and I'll take a couple days off and come on back and join them as they continue to communicate as the progress happens. There will be deeper mopping up. There'll be things to talk about, of course. This fire's not out, as we all know, and there's crews that are going to stay here and work really, really hard, and we want to show that work. We always want to show you what the crews are doing. That's a big part of our mission. A little bit of rain doesn't mean that they get any kind of time off. Of course, if it's a downpour, we don't want them to get hypothermia. That's a standard Alaskan firefighting order. Don't get too wet, or then you're putting yourself or somebody at risk, because that can happen quickly, whether it's August or June or July. Anybody here been a wildland firefighter in their past? Some of the folks in the audience? Well, in this state in particular, when you have a commute on a riverboat or on a trail and you're wet, and it's any time of the year, you can get really cold as these long days and you're camping out. So we do want our firefighters always to take care of themselves, and we're going to communicate the work they're doing regardless of what's going on out there in the environment. So, yes. Okay, some folks, is it good being back home, Shar? Okay, great.
Yes, it is. You guys have been wonderful at trying to keep us updated in that rate. I said thank you for everything you guys have done.
Well, and we want to, this is a special situation here. All throughout the incident, we were letting folks know that the reason why we asked you to leave on the level 3 is because there were so many concerns we had about Hidden Hills Road getting cut off from the fire if it jumped out of the lines, which was a strong potential for you to win. And there were folks like yourselves who put yourselves into evacuation center and out of your normal and away from your normal diet, like gluten-free things you have at home that you like. And we want to thank you and everybody like you who listened to those level 3 orders, who allowed our firefighters in and out access without having another vehicle on the road, and who put yourself through that challenge. And I look forward to coming to visit here pretty soon as things slow down and seeing how things are at home. So thank you. And everybody like you, everybody who put themselves, and including the school kids. They started school a week late. We went in and we talked to every classroom. We got one more to go at the high school. But we went to Talkeetna. We came to every classroom here to thank them because there were a lot of inconveniences, and it allowed us to focus on the challenges and get the job mostly done. We're at 91% containment. Other questions? Sir?
What are the short-term housing needs that going forward right now? Do you have any information about who is destitute in that respect, don't have a place to live, or what are some needs that we as church people might be able to provide?
That's a really good question, and I believe, Bill, do you have any pulse check on, I know there, of course there were families who lost their home. There are families who had to adjust right away. Friends of mine were in Wasilla in a single trailer with a whole bunch of people, and I think that now that they've started to make other arrangements. But Bill, do you want to speak to, I know it's not necessarily your lane, it's just, there are options for folks, and I guess what the
I haven't heard of it. I've got one family that's kind of questionable, we're working on that right now, but I don't know of any right now that aren't taken care of until they can see the state. So at this time, I don't have an answer for it.
Okay, so Bill from the Red Cross is saying.
However, and I would like to say this, the nights are getting colder, some of them are out on their properties, and before that temporary housing kicks in, there could be some come up.
Okay, so it sounds like we can probably match those folks with the churches who have some solutions. You have solutions?
I'm not sure. We'll look.
Okay, so we have, again, another connection in there, and then very generous of you. The temperatures are dropping with the rain. They'll certainly drop faster and faster. So we don't want anybody, that would be another word of mouth, neighbor to neighbor. If you know somebody, there's a lot of folks who don't like to ask for help, who sort of maybe get introverted, and we can reach out as a community. If we know those folks, we can let them know that the churches are here to help, that the Red Cross will help them pair up, and those are all connections that hopefully we can make before too long. Others? How is it being back home in your house? Okay, I know that when you first were going back home, you're worried about hazards and such in the yard. We talked about the fire crews have been systematically now, as Karen, if she had her voice, would be telling us, they've been mopping up 100 feet around structures, and then Team Rubicon can come in and help additionally. So homeowners now are finding that they have a certain safe area, and then there's been this flagging regiment that lets folks know that the white and red tape might be a hot spot or an ash pit, and the black and yellow tape is something that as wildland firefighters maybe we don't want to engage with. And so if you're watching at home or if you're sharing this with your friends, we've been able to go home to home now. The crews are working on that right now. We still have 500 plus firefighters. They have their missions. They want to do a good job. So homeowners, when you see the different flagging, that's what that's for. Take caution, of course. And it's good to see a smile there. I know that was a rough couple of weeks there being out. Our friend is saying the firefighters have been amazing. They do love what they do, and service-oriented folks. We always are grateful when they're professional, and they always usually are professional. Internally, when you sit in the buggy all day or you work all day, it can be hard to keep it together. But when the public is as gracious, the signs, the postcards with all the stamps, every single firefighter here has been able to write their families, been able to communicate while their kids are starting school, and we've probably had about 700 postcards come in with stamps, which I think is a world record. In fact, I'm just going to say it straight up. We've set the world record generous postcard donations to firefighters. And Labor Day weekend, we have 50 postcards to go in the mail tomorrow. And then all the banners. When you drive up the highway right now, if you were maybe in the morning a little tired, don't worry about the bills you have to pay at home, and you see all those signs, that is highly motivating. And they are everywhere. And it's a feedback loop, right? And we're all in it together. So we'll pass those kind words on to the firefighters. Okay. Just scanning to make sure everybody. Lions Club, I met your governor the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yep, came in, got a briefing, asked us how we can help, so thanks for that. Ma'am, how can we help you? Do you have any questions? We're going person to person here because this is about you. If you drove here, we're going to make sure you have a chance to speak today, because that's what this is about. Sir, church group? How many people represent church groups here in this room? Okay, a lot of support from the church. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up then. Norm, do you want to close it out? Okay, I can definitely say as a local member of this community, it's been an incredible honor. We've been touched by all the folks helping each other out. There's been so many different food banks and networks that popped up to support each other. I know Kyra was going firefighter to firefighter, house to house, resident to resident with a bunch of food in the back of our UTV and delivering food for the past week. We had folks out in Hidden Hills helping each other with generators. I think your freezers were able to survive, and that was a big stress point.
12 days, no power.
12 days, no power, and all their food was saved, and their neighbors helped them out. The cooler in the house melted, but then those steaks you ate right when you got home, right? So those type of resilient, redundant, everybody having each other's back makes it an honor to be here, to be part of this community. And I hope that we can all work towards more Firewise too. I certainly will volunteer to come over to your house and cut trees. Just grab me when I'm home after sled dog season in April for 4 weeks. I'll come help you out. Deputy Incident Commander Tom Kurth, going to close us out?
You know, I think what we might want to mention here is there certainly is a spot for organized government. You know, that's kind of a decision that is made by citizens as to whether we're an organized borough or whether or not or something like that. So people have to vote that in. But with that comes services that we as a team certainly appreciate that. That is, you have a fire department, you have fire stations, you have emergency services, you have property inventory, you have disposal areas, you have all the things that make this work for us. And you know, that's a tribute to you folks that you vote in and pay for government services, and they certainly pay off at times like this. So that's certainly a tribute to you folks and your mayor here. So we as a team certainly appreciate that.
Thanks. Eugene, anything? You're good? Pete Pateri, he'll be serving as the IC Incident Commander trainee under John Thompson's team as a part of cross-training to give one more example of the Green Pants Nation and everybody working together. Pete Pateri has been a plans chief in Alaska for a long time, not to put you on the spot. Also a very accomplished musher who used to live in Tok, now in Fairbanks. So he'll be here in your community for the next 10 days, and you'll see Pete around, so say hi to him. And we'll sign it off there. I'll talk to the Island folks right here as everybody breaks out and visits with our subject matter experts and Red Cross and folks individually. And thanks for coming. Okay, any questions from the online?
You addressed them all.
Did we address them all? All right, so if you're watching this on the replay, remember, we do monitor these feeds, and then you can always jump on any of our other live feeds and give us questions. We're here for you. We have a mission. We don't want any question going unanswered. Mariah and Sarah, the incoming, they have the same mission. Come on in, Mariah. That's our job, right?
Yes.
To leave no question unanswered. And the only way we can do that is if we know what they are. So we know people are watching. We know they put the replay on. We know they watch to the end, because if we do something stupid right now, they say it. But leave us those questions. Stop in the Willow Community Center. Give us a call, whatever it is. We want to make sure, even if it's like, hey, can I do this, can I do that? Whatever it is, we want you to know the answers. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.